Good evening, Grizzlies. Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and tonight we have with us, or today, it's actually this afternoon, it's noon for David Robinson. We have Daniel Robinson, missing persons dad, here with us, again, sharing updates with us on the case. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you for bringing me on.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you, and the Grizzlies have your back. I can see they're all. Thank you guys for all your wonderful messages. I'm also just going to scroll here at the bottom. There is a new anonymous tip line, so I'm going to share that right now, so everyone can write it down and get in their minds. What would you like them to share with you on this tip line?
Well, first of all, the tip line is definitely going to replace that the 200 number. That way, we can get live. Things come to us, myself and my investigator, at real time. So when a person call in, there's a live operator that will take the call. If they don't want to want to be anonymous, they can also do it through text to go straight to the page without talking to anyone. And the kind of tips I need is, if anybody heard anything of any kind of tip that would lead to me finding Daniel.
Yeah.
Any information, anything you think can be helpful, that type of stuff.
Okay, great. And for anyone who is new here, could you just give an overview of your son's case, when he went missing, maybe a description, and how your search has been going so far?
Yes, Daniel. First of all, Daniel's from Columbia, South Carolina. He went to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, where he studied geology. He graduated with honors. Came out here to Arizona straight out of college. Landed his job with Matrix New World here in Phoenix. He's been working for that company for a little over 2 years when he went missing from his job site that he was assigned to on June the 23rd. He went out that morning as usual. He went to one site before, one well site he had to visit before going to the second. But when he made it to the second well site, he met a gentleman. It's typical what Daniel do when he get assigned to these sites. He always meet one representative from the drilling company. So he met the gentleman out there, and some people may know the story, but Daniel was last seen from that well site. The gentleman said that he pretty much waved off, drove farther into the deeper part of the desert where he was never found again, was never seen again. And so fast forward, his vehicle was recovered, was found by a rancher out there, probably about 2.5 to 3 miles south of where he was last seen at that well site. Was found by a rancher almost 30 days later. On the 19th of July. So from that point, before the vehicle was found, of course, I traveled from South Carolina to come find my son after being informed by the Buckeye Police Department that they weren't going to do a aerial search of the area where my son was last seen to go look for him. So I made it out here to Arizona to do it myself. I started my searches when we didn't hear about the vehicle at the time, just to cover the whole well site area. And then once the vehicle showed up, I expanded my search to cover both the well site and the area where the vehicle was recovered. And I'm still doing that to this day.
And the vehicle, it's interesting because I read the entire police report, which I think took like over 2 hours to read. It was quite an extensive police report, but they left out that information about the car only being found much later. And I believe the rancher said that car wasn't there 2 days before. It's like
That's correct.
appeared. It sort of just appeared a month after Daniel went missing.
That's right.
Why did they leave that out of the report? I know that's a very frustrating question, but why did they leave that out of the report?
Yeah, I asked the same question. There's a lot of things were left out of the report, but some things that shouldn't be in the report made it. For instance, the opinions of coworkers who felt that Daniel was acting odd. That shouldn't even be in the report. That's kind of irrelevant. They are not licensed, people to give a diagnosis that my son was some type of way mentally impaired. So the whole report is kind of started off facing towards that direction. If Daniel was to wanting to disappear on his own, as in for the rancher, like you said, that's very important. That's very important. He's the one that found the vehicle. He testified to myself and my investigator. Recorded statements. He's willing to testify in court. that the vehicle wasn't there 2 days prior. So those things are very important for the timeline. To say what happened on July the 19th when the vehicle was recovered. A few days after that incident, when the vehicle was recovered, everybody know I hired my own private investigator who came out with substantial evidence and things he found about that vehicle, and that would suggest that the vehicle wasn't there, on the 19th. It was pretty much planted there. That's his impression. And so, that goes together with the statement prior, like I say, from the rancher who says the vehicle wasn't there 2 days prior. So, all that kind of goes together. And those are the type of things that should be in the report, not things about a young lady and my son's conversation, they was having and things taken out of context. So things like that made a report, but the most important things haven't.
That is so frustrating. And I mean, I don't know how they can just explain. I don't know how Buckeye Police would explain not putting the car being found there so much later. That is very, very significant, as you say. It's very important to the timeline. I mean, it adds a whole dimension to the search, and I'm sure it's made your search a lot wider, and you're searching yourself, of course, with all your volunteers who are now your family, as you say, which is amazing. Thank you also to some of the Grizzlies that are there. I believe there's some of the Grizzlies that have also been there, which is amazing to hear.
I told Rose I was going to say something about her, and she's a very wonderful lady. She made it a point. She make it to both my search. She's been out to the desert searches and also my city search. So tell Rose, thank you. She's one of the Grizzlies. Yes.
Oh my word. Yes. And now you're expanding to the city search. Is it true there were like 4 people so far? 4 people that showed. I think Rose put that. I don't know if I saw that on Instagram or where, but there wasn't a huge group that did a city search, right? So you need some more people to do the city search.
The first search was really had a good number for the first search, but the second search, it was very small. I didn't get many people, but it's okay. We was able to get some things accomplished.
Nice. Okay. And that's like handing out flyers and just communicating with people in the city, right?
Yes.
In case Daniel's somewhere there, homeless shelters, hospitals.
Yes.
Wherever. Okay.
Wherever you can, get those flyers out. But we were concentrating on the homeless population.
Yes. Okay. They'll say Rose rocks. Way to go, Rose. Yes. Thank you. From all the Grizzlies, thank you, Rose, for being there. That is so amazing. And if anyone is there in the Arizona area, especially Buckeye, please go and help out. That would be amazing. Stim Convo says, I would like to join. Go join. So the website at the bottom that's scrolling, please help find Daniel.com. If you go there, you can see there are ways in which you can help, which would be to donate, to volunteer, to sign the petition. And there's even a sector map, an map time on this channel. I saw your map and it's very detailed, the whole grid search is there in all the areas you've already searched. So very, very organized. I'm very impressed. Of course, you've got your Army experience for anyone who doesn't know. You are an Army veteran, right?
Yes, I am.
Got your cap on too? Yes. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yes, you were ready to grid search. My goodness, they really shouldn't be messing. They're actually messing with the wrong guy. Buckeye Police Department. I really feel like they're messing with the wrong guy. Yeah, you're never going to stop, and neither will we, to help you raise awareness until we find Daniel. Right? Oh my goodness. Also, the well was a water well. And you are now looking for equipment. Your GoFundMe is to find more resources and more equipment to also get cameras that can look down into the wells.
That's right.
Okay. Do you believe you'd find, I know you found, this is a scary question. So you found other human remains in the area. Do you think you'd find even more of a crime scene if you looked into the water wells in the area?
Yes. And, one of the things you tipped on is, I need those resources. I found some equipment like the drones that can be submergible in the water, things like that. GoPro. One idea I had to try to go down into some of the vertical mines that was found. There's some mines out there that goes straight down, and they're unmarked. So you would never find them on a map or anything like that. So it's very dangerous, first of all, to be out there because you can easily drive into one. But those are some of the areas that I'm concentrating on now. Getting cadaver dogs out there. I have to get certain equipment to disturb the air, for instance, down in those mines, because it's sitting there so long, the air is stagnated. And, to kind of get that air moving. So when the cadaver dogs come in, they can alert if something is there. So it's a process that had to be done, and like I say, it takes resources to do those things. And I don't have the equipment that the FBI, for instance, would have, and some of
Yes.
the police departments. So I had to rely on volunteers and, like I say, the GoFundMe and things like that to provide that kind of equipment and those type things.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the hard question for now is what happened with the Buckeye Police Department meeting with the FBI to,
Mm.
I mean, we watched your press conference. You were excited about it. Your investigator was like, this is what we need. And we all agree. And then, what happened?
Well, as people know, if they didn't know, I wrote a letter out to Chief Hall the week prior, and that letter outlined the fact that we found human remains out there. I cleverly put it together where it kind of ties in what happened to my son, and also the fact that, like I said, we found the human remains. That whole area is a crime scene. We're constantly finding things out there that would suggest so. And my son went missing in that crime scene under suspicious circumstances. Even Chief Hall on a CNN interview agreed that he was missing under very suspicious circumstances, the way he put it. And so tying those things together, and needed the FBI to come in under those conditions, it appeared that Chief Hall agreed, because in his letter, after he, of course, wrote some grievances at the top line, but his last paragraph was where he decided to bring in the FBI to do a case review. And of course, my attorney and myself, my attorney wrote a letter out to make sure I'm part of that case review, and requested that. Gave him a week. We thought that, of course, like you said, I put that out in the public. I'm very happy, very excited that I finally get some kind of movement in my son's case. And so, like I say, a week was going by, and I was kind of getting concerned about that a little. Say, wait, okay, it's taking a little while. Maybe he just have to take a while to, get the FBI an answer back from them when they're gonna have this date. So when I was planning to follow back on with them that next following Monday after my searches, I did get a call from Detective Biffin, who later on in the conversation told me that the FBI wasn't coming in to help out with my son's case. And his reasoning, he told me the FBI said that because I was, as a father, is doing such a great job searching for my son along with the Buckeye Police Department, I don't need them. They don't need to come in. And that don't sound like something I think the FBI would say, but that's what was told to me. And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. I'm not going to stop, of course. I'm going to still push for what I'm asking for, what I need.
That is extremely frustrating, disappointing, and I agree. It doesn't really sound like, not that I know the FBI, it just seems like it's more Buckeye saying it than the FBI. I don't know if that's the answer, the actual professional answer the FBI would give. I'm not sure. It sounds more like Buckeye's track record at this point, right?
Right. And as for the agent, of course, I'm trying to follow up. Now they're not calling. They're going back to the same tactic they always do. They'll call me to give me, ask for something, or, give me bad news like that. And then when I call back, they won't respond. So, I have to wait on a response, but I do want to know who's the agent they spoke with and things like that. So I'm pressing to find out if they really did call the FBI, or that's just a letter he gave me just to, I was going to walk away.
Absolutely. And here was a question. Mr. Robinson, have you tried to contact Equisearch to help you find Daniel?
Yes. And I'm still reaching out to them, try to get some kind of help from that department also, because I've been hearing that quite a lot, Equisearch, and so I'm going to push a little bit more and try to get them out to help.
Yes, this is a good question. Would it help if we bombard the FBI with messages that they should be helping? I mean, what would help? How can we help best? Because there's 35,000 people here, at least in this community, that eventually, even if they're not all here right now, they watch the replay and all that. So how can people help you best to really get the word out and to connect with the FBI?
Yeah, at one point, I was reaching out, have people to call let's flood the Buckeye Police Department and demand action. As in with the FBI, I'm still trying to learn how that even works. How to even get them involved outside of just asking the law enforcement Buckeye to request it. So if there's any way that I can get the FBI involved around Buckeye, I would do so. But right now, I'm still trying to find that way of doing so. I don't have an idea right now.
Yeah, that is so frustrating because even I've mentioned former FBI Special Agent Jerry Williams to you before. She was on the show. I think I sent you some of her details as well. And when
Yes.
she was on the show, she described that it really is up to the local police department to activate getting the FBI involved.
Right.
Buckeye better know there's a lot of people watching them. Really, the wheel is squeaking. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, and we are squeaking it up all the time. I mean, eventually they're going to be so embarrassed of their performance. It's terrible.
It's hurtful because I haven't read the latest report. Plan to get it sometime this week before the holidays. That report it changes and they add in things. I had the first initial report, and I'm just hearing things from volunteers and people about things that's in that report. And from what I can understand is instead of Buckeye actually doing anything to help find my son, they're just writing things in that report to make it appear like they're doing things to search for my son, which I know good and well they're not.
Hmm.
I'm really going to read that report. I'm getting ready to put a timeline together myself.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be based on I record everything,
Yeah.
recordings from the Buckeye the Police Department, and put everything on the timestamp, and I'm going to put it in the public and let people
Yes.
know that this is what happened on this date, this is what happened on that date, this is what
Hmm.
Buckeye said on this date, things like that. And if it don't match that report, then somebody's going to have to answer for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I like that. Do they, it's a weird question, but do they know you record everything? I'm sure you're allowed to record everything, right? You
Yes,
know.
it's a one-party state. I did look that up. Arizona's a one-party state. You don't have to tell anybody that you're recording them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the thing was, I was in the interrogation room with. I didn't realize the interrogation room at first when I first got here in Arizona, but he had my daughter and I, the detectives, in the interrogation room. And when they put in the report that they obtained phone records and things like that. I'm gonna give you an example. My daughter, I sit on the other side of the table, and we holding the phone up like this and kind of strolling. I don't know if you can see this, but strolling down the
Yeah.
phone to
Yeah.
show them the phone records and show them the bank statements. So then they'll right in the report say, yeah, we obtained phone records and bank statements. So that's the way policing works to get documents. Then I guess they're right. But if that's not the proper way of getting documents, then like I said, Buckeye would write things in the report to appear like they was doing something, but they're really not. So, I'm saying, that interrogation thing, I was in that room and I did tell them that I record everything.
Yeah.
There's a Sergeant Hanahan at the time, I think it's Hanneman, I think his name. When he heard me say that, I said, yeah, I record everything. He said, you record everything? I said, yes, I do. He turned red in the face and left the room. So I record everything.
Nice. Good. Well, with them, you kind of have to. And I definitely
Yeah,
never want to like bash the police or law enforcement or anyone. I'm not even from the States, but honestly, from
right.
how Daniel's case is going, it's more than 5 months now. What
It's
are they
going on 6 months.
doing? Oh my word. And to just say initially, they just handed over everything, right? They were like, here's the car, here's a case file. Yeah, right? Didn't they just sort of say it's on you, like we're done here?
Yeah,
Wow.
and that was disappointing. It was 2 days after my son' vehicle was found. The first day, like I tell everybody, the first initial thing, he showed me the vehicle on the 20th. And on that day, he asked me to remove the vehicle from their compound, or they're going to tow it away and charge me stolen fee.
Oh my
It was
word.
yeah, it was very hurtful, for them to do that. I don't know anything about Arizona at the time. But yeah, they did. They turned those things over to me. Turned over my son's items. They went on social media and said we exhausted all our leads. We don't have an investigation. They told my investigator that when he came on, we're not investigating. But all of a sudden they'll tell people in public we're investigating. They haven't investigate anything. You can't investigate when you turn up all the evidence that you have, and you don't have evidence. You give me a bag of my son's items and mark it as safekeeping for safekeeping, not evidence. So I think when you have an investigation, you keep evidence. So they just covering themselves right now. They playing cover up and covering themselves, and they have never investigated my son's being missing.
Which I find so strange because he definitely disappeared under very mysterious circumstances. And if they want to think that he crashed his car, took off his clothes, and walked into the desert, what is the explanation for, okay, but where is he now? Like, if that's their hypotheses, that he joined a monastery in the desert, which makes no sense at all, but just walked off into the desert, then where is he now? Even if it was like, oh no, this is sinister, he walked off, that's it. Well, even if there were remains, which we don't want to think about, but why are they not even there's no conclusion. It's very frustrating. My goodness.
Yes, yes, it's very frustrating to me, especially having to go out there every week. Even on the weekdays, looking for my son. Trying to coordinate everything. That I can. A lot of things happen at one time, so it's kind of difficult trying to stay on top of everything, stay on top of the website, try to stay on top of
Yes.
social media, try to get things out on the news networks, trying to follow leads, going traveling to other cities to follow up leads that all the time don't lead to any place, but follow, just doing so much, and trying to do it all by myself. But the good part is I have the volunteers, and
Yeah.
without the volunteers, and I call them my family or my family, without my family and my extended family,
Yeah.
I would never get any of that stuff done. So I'm really grateful.
Wow. That is so amazing. I hope that there's some volunteers that can help you with some of that stuff, with the social media, with the website running, with just all the things you're doing, because it really is it's a full-time thing. I mean, you're searching for your son all the time, and there's so much that goes behind the scenes, so much work goes into it, which is very unfortunate. I mean, here they are Buckeye Police Department still taking the weekends off. Oh my word.
Yes, they
Monday to
do.
Friday.
Close on the weekend. They close.
Oh,
If you need anything, you go run to the office. There's nobody there. So I don't know how they handle crime in Buckeye. I guess they stop crime stop on weekends. So I don't know.
yeah, Monday to Friday and weekends are off. Wow. Amazing. Goodness. This question came from Joyce Smith. Have local residents helped the search?
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, I think a great bit of the volunteers that come out in searches are from the general area of Buckeye and like Goodyear and some of the little areas around there, Surprise. So yeah, we have a bulk of people from those areas.
Okay. And this question from Kelly Dime. How many people did they find who had passed away in the area where Daniel's car was found? So the crime scene, how many other human remains have you found, and have they been identified?
Well, since I started my searches, I counted about 7 or 8 now, and we only person I know that we have been identified. Because Buckeye don't give me information. Once we turn that stuff over to them, they won't tell us anything. The
Hmm.
only way I found out about the skull that was found in my searches um, is because I was having a conversation with a lady down in Florida, and her family was looking for her brother who went missing in that area. And so once they did some, I guess, a kind of forensic um, uh, painting or a portrait or something of the skull and put a face to it, they was able to identify their brother, and they was they're in the process, as far as I know now, to claim that those remains. So
And
that
do they say what happened to them? Is it sinister? Do they say what happened to these people?
well, no, they didn't give us any idea. I didn't hear anything officially, but we went found that skull. The skull do like appear that it was a murder because of the.
Hmm.
I don't want to be graphic, but
Yeah.
some things we saw on the skull that would indicate this person was murdered, and so
Hmm.
yeah, I've seen those things. Yeah, just looking at that skull, yes.
I mean, someone asked you, interesting question. Law enforcement controlled by cartels? I mean, is that a thought you may have had? That there could be cartels out there and law enforcement scared of them or something?
I heard all kind of things like that, so I don't know. I haven't seen nothing personally. When we're out there in the desert, I haven't seen anybody, which I wouldn't know. I mean, I just not gonna go up to them and say, "Hey, are you part of the cartel or thing?" So I wouldn't know. But I'm saying, I haven't seen anything like that out there, but I do hear rumors about things like that. So I'm not sure.
Hmm. Goodness. And this question from John Q. Mr. Robinson, has your search team began to search the areas around the water aqueduct north of where Daniel went missing?
And that's some of the reasons why I need those equipments. I see those areas; they always something that bothers me. One area though is fenced. That's the canal that runs through there. It's a fenced area. I went around those fencing to see if there's any way to get into those areas, other than opening the gates that's chained gates. So I think those areas are actually protected by the government, so protected waters. So I don't see anybody getting into those gates. I was looking for, like I say, holes in the gates where somebody probably went in and somehow do something. So I don't know, but I do need those equipment and things like that to search certain waterways I see out there.
Mm-hmm. Here they say, are you able to get documents from Buckeye? I mean, since you are running your own investigation, I think.
They don't.
Right.
Buckeye don't even talk to me. If I was to call right now, I get a voicemail, of course, and ask for a call back. They wouldn't do that. So I couldn't imagine them just handing over any kind of documents or things like that to me. Now we have to them. Like I said, my investigator sat down with me. We decided to share everything we have with Buckeye Police Department. In fact, every time we go out on the search, I have my website set up where volunteers are told not to touch anything. And if they find anything, don't touch it. You go on a link on the website, your camera will come up, you take the picture, give the coordinates, and that goes immediately to the Buckeye Police Department and also my investigator. So, we share with them, but they won't share with us, no.
And can the Phoenix police or any other police departments get involved or not? Is it just because it's in Buckeye, it has to be Buckeye?
That's right. Because of that, Daniel was last seen in their jurisdiction. Unless we can prove otherwise. Now I can tell you what I'm working on this week, and it's very plausible to include the federal government. And the reason why is because a lot of that area is BLM, Bureau of Land Management area, and only a few hundred feet from where my son's vehicle was found is federal land. And I'm kind of putting those things together where it can tie Daniel's movement, or if you say that travel, the 11 miles, for instance, it went over federal land. And so to tie in the federal government will automatically bring in FBI. So that's my only way of hitting that angle to ensure the FBI still come in. So like I told you before, I just don't give up easy. I found other ways.
I don't think you give up at all.
No,
it's not even easy. You don't give up at all. Right? We love that fighting
absolutely.
spirit you have. Absolutely. And we don't want you to ever give up. And if you ever run low on energy, you come to us.
That's right.
We'll energize you. So one of the things I saw in the press conference was that your investigators shared that they found a sock, which he believed was Daniel's sock, near the water well, right? Where he was last seen. Right. Now, when they found the pile of clothes next to the cart, was that also Daniel's shirt, pants, boots, and socks? Or was this an additional sock? That was just a question I had.
Yes, well, Buckeye collected those things and they put them in evidence bags, like I told you, and they marked it for safekeeping, as if Daniel gonna come back and get them. So they didn't have an investigation. They gave me all those items inside those bags. I did not open those bags. I decided to be smart, open and keep it the exact way they gave it to me. So when I brought Mr. McGrath on, he was out to a search. He had all those items and he kept it in the bags himself. To hold on to, and he was out to one of my searches. Him and his team. While I was on one side of the desert with the volunteers, him and his team was on the other side working near the well site, and they found that sock out there. They found the sock out there. It wasn't not too far. I'd say about 800 to 1,000 feet away from the well site area. And so, seeing that sock out there, he thought it was very strange. He collected it the way investigators collect it. He explained to me that in proper procedure, he went to open that evidence bags to see if there's any kind of way the sock that he found would match anything in that bag. And lo and behold, it was a match to one of the socks that was in the bag that Buckeye put the things in. So that was Daniel's socks. It also matches the pack of socks that Daniel had at his residence. So everything matched on that part. We turned that stuff over to Buckeye Police Department also. The information over to the Buckeye Police Department also.
So I'm just checking that I understand correctly that Buckeye collected the stuff near the car, put it in safekeeping bags. But this sock that was found, I'm just checking that Buckeye didn't drop it there, right? They didn't take this stuff for safekeeping and drop some of Daniel's stuff there, right? This was another sock.
Right, yeah, this sock that was actually matched the sock they had. So let's say they collected
Okay.
that stuff and put it in evidence bags
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
I guess the 19th when the vehicle was found. My investigator found that sock out there in July near the well site. So it was some time afterwards after the bag was collected.
Okay. Karina from Sweden asks, have you applied to Cold Case Foundation for a second overview?
I haven't heard of them. I've never heard of that one.
Okay, we'll deep dive some of that and try and connect the dots and get that going. Of course, you don't see your son's case as a cold case now. Of course not. It's still very
No,
much ongoing.
that's right. That's right. And I'm still hopeful because because I don't have any answers what happened to Daniel.
Yeah.
All thing we know is that I still have hope to believe that he's out there somewhere and I'm going to find him.
Yes. I mean, it sounds to me almost like Buckeye believes the same. That's the one silver lining, is they're like, no, he's fine.
Yes, yes.
So that they're of the same belief system. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's one thing we can agree on. My word.
That's right.
Let's see. I've got some questions I wrote down here. I just want to see that I've got everything. We've got the FBI one. Yes, the anonymous tip line, the SOC. Okay. Okay, no, I've asked you all those. Okay, I just want to make sure I also ask you all my questions. And then I see the Grizzlies are also asking some. So, wait, how else can people help you? So let me just check your GoFundMe. I just want to show it here on screen, if I may, like this. So your goal for now is $200,000, but it could be more even because you need so much equipment and equipment is very expensive, right?
Yes. I started off with amount because I didn't know. My daughter, she came to me about GoFundMe, and thank God she did.
Yes.
Trying to take care of things. I do still have a home in South Carolina. I still have things I take care of there. So the GoFundMe helped a lot. Like I said, just go ahead and get the resources that I need. I didn't expect that I was going to have to do all of this myself when I got here. But it's costly, very costly. It's an ongoing thing every week. It's a lot of expenses out there. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing.
Okay, great. And let's just check where your petition is at. 98,040 people have signed. Let's get this petition to 150,000. Do you think, I mean, it will still be helpful, right? The more people that sign, the better.
Right. The more, the better. I still, like I said, trying to keep up with everything. One thing I did is updated the reasoning for the petition to just kind of include some of the other things that I'm very passionate about. For instance, to help other families, saying try to get some of these rules changed, demand some of these rule changes. The first 24 to 48 hours urgency, things like that. So, I kind of reword some of the things and kind of added some things to that petition. I'm asking people please sign that. That'd be very helpful. It'd be helpful in a lot of ways, to put pressure on the Buckeye Police Department and whoever, any law enforcement agency that's out there that could help and just putting their hands, sitting on their hands right now. So I just need some help.
And has Gabby Petito's dad been in contact with you? Because I've seen you started sharing your case, which is wonderful. Has he made contact with you?
Well, I haven't made personal contact with me, but I'm in contact with his people and his. So some of my people and their people we're communicating now.
Okay, that's great. If he can keep sharing it as well, and then Brian Enton, I'm sure you've seen Brian Enton. He goes all over the place. So if he could be there reporting, this would be amazing. That's what we're trying to do over here as well. We're bugging him on Twitter a little bit.
Yes, I'm really grateful to the Petito family because that's very nice of them. They did reach out back out to me and say they would do that. Share my son's story. So I'm grateful to that family also.
Yeah, because they had a bit of the opposite experience, isn't it? They had a lot of FBI help, a lot of funding, a lot of support, a lot of media coverage, of course. Wow. So I hope that they can. I hope their platform can be used to help find Daniel.
That's right.
Here's another question. Mr. David, did you get Daniel's detailed cell phone records to show his locations, or is that info up on your website?
Well, that's some issues that we have from reason why we wonder why we need FBI involved and wonder why Buckeye Police Department not really doing an investigation. As I put out before, a lot of the stuff been wiped off my son's phone. When I received my son's phone from the Buckeye Police Department, is missing several things. His memory card, certain details in the phone was wiped. His location stuff was wiped. Matter of fact, I just turned this phone on a little before this interview, trying to get some information, for instance, from Instacart. Certain things like that, and it's missing. A lot of those data is missing. Like someone went in and made sure those type things are not there. So I don't have any kind of clue to kind of track what Daniel's movements were and things like that. So having a hard time right now. That's why I need experts like the FBI who can, because nothing's really ever erased. Who can go into that device and get those answers that I need.
And do you think that if someone came in contact with Daniel somewhere in the desert, that they would have deleted that information and wiped it? Or do you think it's Buckeye Police?
I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but everybody's suspicious to me. I don't rule out anybody either. So but I don't accuse anybody. I don't know what happened. So I'm being very careful to not blame anybody for going through my son's phone. But what it looks suspicious to me, certain things are deleted and missing. So, and not seeing that in the report, it's bothersome to me. Certain little details like that.
Like the Instacart stuff, is that wiped from his phone as well?
Yes, I just looked at it before I came on with you and trying to see if I can get like his movement, what his orders were. I don't know how Instacart thing work. I never did before, but I was assuming that they would have some type of history that you can go to on the app itself of his orders that he took or whatever places he went. And I looked at it and it's nothing there. So trying to figure that part out.
That is so scary. They say, do you think his disappearance is related to his job?
Again, I don't rule anything out because I don't have answers to that. I don't know, but I don't rule anything out. Like I said, you can imagine, and I keep saying it as a father, family, we're suspicious of everybody and everything. So, I wouldn't rule anything out. I'm looking at every angle I can. I'm not, like I said, I don't have no doubt about anything. I won't rule anybody out and say, oh no, this didn't happen. I say this probably could happen. So I don't know.
Exactly. And there was some paint on Daniel's car. I believe, was it red paint on Daniel's car? Do you know anyone that was connected to him with a red car?
Well, I know a few people, and now looking into my son's case, I do my own investigation, so I know of a few people with red transfer paint. In fact, just last week, I ran into a abandoned pickup truck that was red. One of the volunteers found it, alerted me to it. I went out there and took some pictures. I have the license plates number off the vehicle, and it did have a Buckeye sticker on it that indicate that they know the vehicle's out there. So I took pictures of it, and right now I'm going to have that looked into because the vehicle itself is red. So see if they have any relations to my son's vehicle.
So when you say a Buckeye sticker, you mean like Buckeye Police Department knows about this abandoned vehicle?
Right. It's a sticker. I didn't read exactly what was on it, but I was assuming that a sticker to say, hey, we know it's here. I guess to the owner, hey, you need to remove it, or but I can't see them removing that vehicle unless they get it towed out of there because the wheels are busted and like it sustained some axle damage. So I couldn't see them just cranking it up. But whoever it belongs to, all their belongings is inside the vehicle. The back of the vehicles have a lot of things that I guess the person owned inside the back of the truck. So that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have my investigator look into that also, and also if we get information from the Buckeye Police Department, since there are stickers on that vehicle, who it belongs to, and things like that.
Yeah, and was did that car have any bumps on? I mean, it sounds pretty beat up, but like bumps and things, maybe possibly from Daniel's car.
I try to look at that. I've taken pictures and tried to find any kind of indication where that vehicle, even though it was in bad shape, more of that damage was on the bottom half of the vehicle, on the paint itself. even though the vehicles, when I say the year, that vehicle probably 99, 2000. Expected to be kind of faded, some of the red, but uh, I didn't see anything that would say that it had a transfer paint from my son's vehicle to that vehicle. So I didn't see anything like that. So, like I said, I'm not an expert. Maybe I missed something because I was out there with the volunteers, just taking pictures really quick, getting the location, put down on my website so I can look at it later. Things like that. My investigator can get it. And so I'm going back this week to get a little bit more information from it.
Wow. Okay. And here, Kay Lou asks, what does it take for the public to get the FBI involved?
And I'm still working on that. And as soon as I find that answer, I definitely, I'm going to put that out on social media. That'd be quick. I need you guys to do this, write whoever, if that works. So, because like I said, the only thing I know so far of getting the FBI in, and they told me themselves that they had to be pretty much invited in by the police department, which would be Buckeye Police Department, had to invite them in into my son's case because they have jurisdiction.
Okay, yeah. They're suggesting that we stand outside the police department in protest. I mean, that could be quite interesting.
Oh, that was in the workings. At one point, I had to calm some, had some people out there who was willing and ready to do that. You can imagine. That was happening almost from a month out of my son being missing. But I tried to not to go there just yet. I was trying to give the Buckeye Police Department some opportunities to work with me and not against me. And and now I see it get to a point that it may have to end up coming to that point eventually, but the time is just not now.
Okay. Well, guys, stand by. If need be, you just never know, but not on a Saturday or Sunday because they're off.
That's right. They won't be there.
Make sure it's a Friday so we annoy them before their weekend starts. My goodness. Stephanie Bates says, I send you so much strength and love. You're a great human being and a true dad.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I try to be.
Yeah. No, you're a great example. My goodness. Amazing fighting spirit when we're all with you there. Question from Esther Best. Have they looked into the person that last saw him and met up with him?
Yes. Well, I just got to speaking to one of the ladies I talked to about that. Every time I look at the story, I just go back over things sometimes. I'm just hearing the Buckeye Police Department say, hey, I talked to this gentleman. I talked to him. I never heard the word interrogate yet, or just bring somebody into the police department. I just hear, I called this person and had a conversation with them. So everything is based on a person's words. Everything's been done on the honor system. This person said this day, I'm taking their word for it. There's no vetting it, no, trying to find if there's corroborate their stories and things like that. I haven't seen that. And so that's a problem for me. And I'm still pushing for that to happen too.
Yes. We need an undercover. You need someone undercover there to ask a lot of questions. Schmitty asks, thank you so much for the super sticker. It seems that if Buckeye is all in, they should be providing every and all documentation they have since you are doing your own investigation.
I agree. But this other day when he was telling me the FBI is not coming in, he also told me they're investigating. So I said, when you start investigating? Oh, we always been investigating. Okay, well, why you don't go get this? If you're investigating, I need you to give me those cell phone pings. I need to know my son's geolocation of his, just give him a list of things of his vehicle from his the satellite system in his vehicle. I need to see those camera footages of him riding down at a traffic light. I need to see some interrogation from these people that works with him and the guy at the well site. And, I need to see the witnesses that, there's certain little things I need to see if you're investigating, do some investigative work, come out there in my searches and help me find some of these human remains that we're finding. Their searches, they've been out there, they put these photo ops out there that they actually look for my son, and they don't even come up, like I keep using that word, they don't come up with a construction cone, and everybody knows construction cones are orange. So they're not finding anything because they're not looking. I use that same analogy. If I was to go right now, somebody say, hey, David, go in that cabinet and get the peanut butter out the cabinet. The cabinet is full. I can open a cabinet, I can look around with my eyes, and then shut it back and say, well, it's not there. They say, well, it is there. It's not looking. Oh, I did look. I could technically say I looked, but I didn't go reach in there and do any work. So that's the same way that Buckeye Department is really handling my son's case.
My word. It was said his employer was paying his rent. Are they still?
No. Matter of fact, the employee that was paying his rent is one guy. I found out he was doing that. That was a problem for me, as a father, because he shouldn't have been doing that. If anybody, his job could have been doing it. If they wanted to do it, I wouldn't have no objection to that. But employees shouldn't have done that. I had a meeting with them when I found out he did it for like a month or two, and I had a problem with that. So I had a meeting with his higher ups, and that's one thing that shouldn't be done. They wanted to reach out and try to help that way they could have. So I started taking care of those things by myself. Like I said, now we got to a point where everything in his apartment was photographed, and all the stuff that my investigator had to do to that apartment. When he got finished, complete that, that apartment's gone now. Had to go through his apartment and pack his things up and get it out of there.
Oh my word, that must have been so hard. You had to do that as well, on top of everything.
Yeah, it was very difficult. It's in terms of, everybody have their privacy, and just going through my son things. I couldn't imagine some of the things that he wanted or he don't want. Saying so it's kind of hard to determine if he's going to throw some things out or keep some things. So it's almost like from our family view, we don't know what happened to Daniel. We don't know he is dead or alive. So it's very hurtful to kind of go through it. It's almost like you're packing things for a person who passed away, and they can't speak for themselves anymore. They can't tell you what they want or they don't want. Saying things like that. So it was very difficult. I mean, it took us. I think it took us like 2 weeks almost just to pack his house, because it was. Had days where I was just so hurt to even go there. Apartment. So we finally got it out there. We got his things, and some of the mementos, and his mother took, to want to keep, and take back to South Carolina with her. And so we got through it. We got through it as a family. Got his things.
I think that is the biggest red flag I've seen in this investigation, is when someone goes missing, someone's reported missing, you go to the apartment and you search. But Buckeye didn't do that, right? They didn't want to go into the apartment. They didn't really search the apartment. I mean, that's crazy. What if he's in there? What if he's passed out in the apartment? But they didn't even go there.
And I have a recording. I told I recorded everything. But I had the officer, like I said, had his interrogation room, and I told my daughter, because they don't want to get a warrant. They're not investigating, remember? They're not investigating my son's case at the time. And they literally asked us, me and my daughter, to break in my son's apartment because they can't get in there. The landlord wouldn't let them in. They wouldn't let us in either as a family. But to break in there, just don't get caught. That was his exact words. Hey, go in there and don't get caught. And to make a long story short, they later was able to access my son's apartment by begging because they didn't have a warrant. They begged the landlords, which the landlord again still would let me in there as a father. But they say, okay, well, we'll let the officer. They walked with them, told him he couldn't touch anything, but he could just walk in there, which he did. And so he could put on a police report. We went into his apartment. They didn't look for anything. He just walked in, took a couple of pictures while he was walking, and walked back out. So he did do a walk-in a little time after.
And did they find anything strange at the time when they walked in, or when you walked in? Because they clearly just took a stroll. But was anything out of place? Anything strange about his apartment that gives you any more clues?
Well, my investigator, of course, when I really got access to my son's apartment, which I eventually was able to get access to his apartment, I didn't go in to mess with anything. So I had my investigator to go in and do his work. He spent like 2 days in that apartment, doing his investigative work. He started asking me things about my son's room, because my son is a very clean guy when it comes to his outside. I smiled because I thought about the first initial thing I thought, as a parent, his room was a mess for what I was told at the time. And, I felt embarrassed at the time. So, you know what? He wasn't raised that way. He wasn't raised that way, but his room was a mess. And so to me, when I finally saw the pictures, without going in there, and from my investigator, I was really stunned. But he said he thought somebody was. It appears that somebody was looking for something. Because everything was thrown all over the place, and we assumed that Daniel was just being messy. And I was like I said, I was apologizing for that, like like
Yeah.
he's a kid still. And I left because I don't know how I would get on him about cleaning up. But one of the things that was seemed kind of strange was that he had a vacuum cleaner plugged up, like he was vacuuming the floor, but yet everything's on top of it. So it was still plugged up in the wall. So the investigator kind of looked at it like somebody came in after he was vacuuming the floor, or kind of threw things out the drawers and things like that. So so that was some indication that was something strange going on there. But because we didn't have any real full evidence or anything like that, we kind of holding on to those type of things until later. Some other evidence
Yeah.
is there, but some things I can't talk about. But that's
Yeah.
one of the things that was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very interesting. I mean, would the person who helped or just paid for the apartment, the employee, would they have access to the apartment?
I hope
Yeah.
not. I hope not. Because my son, he paid for his own rent, he paid his own bills. But when he went
Yeah.
missing, like I said, one of the coworkers took it upon himself
Yeah.
to pay his next month's rent. Saying I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
when to do. I don't know how I even got access to my son's landlord, because they wouldn't give me anything. They wouldn't tell me how much my son's rent was, the amount or anything. But he was
Wow.
able to get that information, and I guess sent them a check or something out of other when I ended up finding out. But you know, I don't think he have access as in a key or anything like that. At least I hope not. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
my son did, if he gave somebody a key to hold on to, but I do know if he would have done that, I was hoping that he would have did it with his sister, because she did request that. Like both of them here in Arizona alone. Two siblings. They need each other's house key in case of things like this.
Yes. Yes.
From emergency, they can access each other's place.
Oh my word. Heidi says maybe there are some retired volunteer cops there that could help. I spoke to one. Is he helping? Right?
Yes, I have. I think you sent the gentleman. I can't remember his name, because I had a couple to reach out to me.
Yeah, I spoke
That's
to
trying to help
Scott
me.
Wagner. Yeah.
Yes, decided he's supposed to be coming in town. Waiting. He's working with my investigator. Come in town and help out. So I'm grateful for that.
That's amazing. Even if they have some, I mean, Scott Wagner is former NYPD, I believe. So if he could
Right.
get some more media coverage specifically from New York, let that go. A lot
That's
of
right.
news stations out there. That would be amazing.
That
So I
will
hope
be.
I hope he brings some of his media friends along. That would be so great. Oh
Yes.
my word.
And it's expertise, because I need that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, bring your expertise. Bring as much as you can.
That's right.
Bring everything. Let's see what else they've got here. I'm trying. Sorry, guys, if I miss some of your questions, my bad. I'm focused over here. I don't mean to. Thank you to the mods who highlight questions that I do miss. I really appreciate it. The list of suspicion grows towards Buckeye. Sorry to keep harping on this, but my gut is screaming. Right? It's very suspicious. Oh my goodness. Let's look at this one. Have you spoken to the people in the grid area? 3 grids south of where your son's car was found. The area was checked by foot, but never verified yet on your sector map. Interesting.
Oh, which that again? Which group? I'm sorry.
So they say, David, have you spoken to the people in the grid area, 3 grids south of where your son's car was found? The area was checked by foot, but never verified yet on your sector map. Interesting.
Yes. This because we can't get access, because there's some gates there. I think I know what they're talking about.
Yes.
We
Yes.
can't get in there. Those are private properties, and so we try to use drones. And a lot of times if we can't fully search a grid area, we don't mark it, because we intended to go back over that again eventually. So once we get
Like that.
full, once we search fully, and then we'll be able to mark those things off. It turned
Okay.
dark. Yes.
Great. I like they all have map time over here. So I'm just showing you guys the sector map, which is available on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So you can see the car is here. I think are these the areas that this subscriber was asking about? I think maybe.
Yeah, it's a little farther south.
Oh, okay, okay.
Farther south.
Wow, but you've been searching. Is it 17 weeks now? How long has this been? My
This
goodness.
18 weeks. Yes.
18 weeks. My goodness. And the search continues. It will never stop. But hopefully you find Daniel soon. That would be amazing.
That's right. We're gonna have to find them. But you can imagine, you see all the areas that's not marked. That's areas that we haven't even touched yet, and and everything is based on my investigator.
Yeah.
We have meetings and we decide areas that we need to search. So that whole area, the part of the desert is so large. You can see
Yeah.
even some of the missing. It seemed like you'll skip one area and jump to the other side, and we still got something in the
Mm.
middle. We're still working on that. So you can imagine the reason why I need
Mm.
as much volunteers as I need to get. More volunteers and more areas we can search. With the amount of
Yes.
volunteers I have now, I'm grateful. And I'm very grateful, and everybody worked very hard. But you can imagine it's slow moving. Even after 18 weeks, we have a lot to cover. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't even got there yet.
Yes.
You know, so because we need the manpower, and
Hmm.
that's all we can get some of those areas that you can see. For instance, I think that's I can't really see that right now. You go over to your
I'm zooming in.
yes,
uh,
yes. You go over to the right a little bit. I can tell you, yeah,
I'm just going to go like this a little bit. Okay.
right there when you got your clicker,
Yeah.
that area
Yep.
closer to Sun Valley Parkway, along that line, that area
Yeah.
near the gate. That's where we found. Matter of fact, that need to be marked off. I'm gonna talk to my guys because we did find the human remains in those areas right there. So
Wow. Wow.
the last time, right?
Okay. Whoa. So
But there's
hectic.
an area that need to be marked off right now.
Okay. So here, somewhere here, you found the other human remains. My goodness.
That's correct.
Were there all these other human remains in this sort of area here?
Well, most of them
Or
was closer to the where you see the vehicle symbol,
oh
that
yeah.
area. Yeah, right up in those areas
Hmm.
where we found the human skull, not so many hundred feet away from where my son's vehicle was found, and some near the well site area. You know, in between. So there's different areas, but most of them are near the vehicle recovery site.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And what a wonderful detailed map, and to see even the progress of where you're searching and all that. It's very fascinating to see how organized you are, because you're doing it all yourself. I know you've got volunteers, but like, my word.
Well, we gonna see technology getting better as the weeks go by. Things getting better, and I'm grateful that God blessed. I've run into people who have those expertise. The guy who actually created that map, I guess he have a patent on it. I'm in touch with him now. He's going to upgrade that map for me. And what we're doing is that's why I need the drones and things like that, because it'll give us a better way of searching. We can see everything just using the drone footage along with the map, and we get a tighter view of that
Yes.
area. For instance, like 10 feet within 10 feet of where
Whoa.
we're standing, so we can see things in more detail. And we go back over when we have our meetings and things like that, where to search the nets and stuff like that.
Yeah, drones would be so helpful. Chloe's mom, I see your question about Aaron Mole and his map. I have forwarded it to him. I've been tagging him and all this. I hope he does at some point. He lives in Florida, so I don't know if he's just going to go there, take his drone. But anyone with drones in the area would help a lot.
Yes.
Does some of Mr. Robinson the Second's Army vets or active duty volunteered to help, especially with the need of federal help?
Well, I
Any other
do. I
Army
reach
vets?
out to all my brothers and sisters in
Yeah.
arms. I have a
Okay.
lot of I was about to say coworkers, but battle buddies. From my unit all over the country. They're reaching out to me now, saying they want to come out and help. So hopefully, I get to see them. Some from down in Florida, different parts of the country, Texas, and things like that, want to come out and help. So hopefully, I get to see them, and
Yes.
like old times. The unit we all out there in the desert together doing some stuff.
Yeah, I hope. I'm sure you've got extended family as well in South Carolina. I'm assuming. Is everyone pretty much in South Carolina?
That's right. Well, we have
I
some
mean,
South Carolina and other places, more on the eastern seaboard. That side
yeah.
of the country.
Maybe they could also come out. Have they also wanted to? Any of other family members? Yeah.
I reach out, so I was gonna leave it that way. So,
Yes.
but I don't expect for my daughter, for instance, to come out to searches. And I tell people, the volunteers, that all the time. You don't see my daughter out there anymore. She used to come. Is because I forbid certain family members to be out there, because if I do find Daniel, unfortunately, in that
Uh,
kind of direction, they don't need to see that. I have my
mhm.
war experience. some things I had to carry for the rest of my life, that we had to do in Afghanistan, for instance. My children shouldn't have that in their brain. So, especially their little brother, they shouldn't see certain things. So, I stopped them from coming out just because of that reason.
And is it at all dangerous for people to be searching? I mean, I don't know. It was a question I had because I want to come out there one day and help. So is it in any way dangerous to come out into the area, which is sort of a crime scene and may have supposed cartels or something? Is it dangerous, and how big are the groups that go out at a time together?
And we don't allow anybody to go out anywhere by themselves. And groups usually have roughly 10 people, or
Okay.
sometimes more. We keep all the UTVs, ATVs, and 4x4 type vehicles together. Nobody go alone. We don't go anywhere alone. Now I can imagine. I'll be honest with you. I have some volunteers I can name that go out through the week alone. Even I
Oh,
snuck out there by myself a few times without telling people alone
wow.
because some things I need to check out. But nobody know that you're out there or you're going. So hey, somebody looking for me, for instance. I hate to say that because I did have death threats. They won't know I'm out there unless they was following me from my place and know I'm going out there. So they're not telling anybody sometimes is helpful, but at the same time, it is kind of scary thought, that people,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my son, and there may be people out there that is out there to harm you. So, like I said, only because of wildlife that's out there, not just people, the wildlife,
Hmm.
we don't have anybody go out there by themselves.
Yes. Okay. And you say you received death threats. What on earth for? What is wrong with those people?
I don't know. That's ridiculous to me. Those things, I think, is what I was like. I hear a lot of times from some of the higher reporters who go all over the world to report. They say, "Oh, you haven't seen anything yet." That is one of the territories that happens. The crazies come out. Saying whenever you start being seeing it on TV or things like that, that's when the crazy people come out, and they
Hmm.
have nothing better to do in life but to try to make your life miserable
Yeah.
while you're trying to do something, something like this, looking for your son. So I take that with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I protect myself. So I'm always
Yes.
protected, and I'm always watching, and I'm always looking. So, just in case, But at the same time, I already know that there's a lot of people out there that does things and say things, and that
Yeah.
I guess gets their rocks off, and that's what they do.
That's so crazy. When you go out there on your own, for instance, are you armed? I mean, are you at least armed?
Yes.
Right? You're allowed to be. You're an army veteran. You can be armed. So
Yes. Well,
yeah. Okay.
when I first started my searches, I was refusing to be armed. When I started getting the death threats at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I still refused to be armed because I'm a veteran, like you said, and I had coming out of war. I had some issues, always wanting to carry weapons all the time, and I
Yeah.
kind of grew myself out of it through my own, going through my PTSD issues. I learned to try to live a life like I used to before war, and I started doing that. But I've been advised by my investigator once he came on and he found out those threats. And I did report that to the FBI, one of them.
Okay.
But those threats, and he advised me to stay armed at all times, and I do now.
Okay. Great. Good to know. You're safe. You're armed. Very
Yes.
nice. So I don't know if you saw, I did actually see this. Jennifer, thank you, Stefan, for this question. Jennifer Coffendaffer, former FBI, said a substantial reward needs to be offered to motivate people to look. What do you think about that idea?
And that's the thing I've been working on for a while. You can imagine with everything that's costly, I have to
Hmm.
find a way to be able to put up that reward.
Yeah.
And I've been working on that for months, how to balance out getting that amount, and also at the same time keep my searches going, and also the resources that I need to keep the searches going, and to be able to stay here in Arizona. So trying to balance all that out, I have never come to that point. Haven't come to that point yet, or how to
Yeah.
get that reward up. And I really need that up. Like you said, it's sad to say that a lot of people are motivated by rewards and things like that.
Yes. Yes, it seems to be. It definitely helps people come forward more, and maybe you just give more tips to your tip line or something like
Right.
that. Have you had any useful tips so far? I know this sounds weird, but I know some crazies also call tip lines. Have you had any useful tips so far?
Yes, I have. Well, I thought they were.
Yeah.
A lot of them was credible. We had some tips where people say they've seen Daniel, and the only reason why we go search those areas, those three different cities, because those three different people said something similar. When they have some similar content there, that kind of make the other one sound plausible. That's when we go search. But once we got there, of course, it fans out to be nothing. One in particular still is an interest. Only problem with that is camera footages and things like that. So that's kind of make it very difficult to kind of narrow some things down. Nobody else in each case, other than the person that reported that, have had any sightings. Nobody near them, the family members or anybody else like that. We had one gentleman who held it for over 2 weeks. Matter of fact, came out to the searches, one of my searches, and didn't say anything to me. But then waited to my next search and then decided to say, hey, this guy in I think it was Flagstaff at the time, I believe it was. No, I'm sorry, Sedona. Senior son, blah blah blah. And that was kind of questionable to me. I went to go check that out. Like I said, it found out to be nothing. But my thinking at the time when he said it, he said he was 100% sure. My question was, why you waited 2 weeks? Why they came to the searches without saying anything? And then when I questioned him about it, he asked him why he didn't tell his own wife. He didn't tell his own wife. He didn't call the police department. He called my tip line number. He didn't even tell the mailman. So it was some things like that. It came to a point that I'm thinking it's just one of those, like I say, people that want to. I guess I don't know what their reasoning for doing certain things, but it turned out to be nothing.
Yeah, so let's hope you get credible tips to this anonymous tip line. It's on the bottom of the screen if you guys want to write it down and call in if you're in the area or if you see anything, or even out of the area. We don't know at this point where Daniel could be. Could be out of state for all we know. But if you see anything, please say something and call this tip line. That would be very, very helpful.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, we have a live operator, so somebody's there to take it any time of the day.
And where is Daniel's car now, and all his items and all the things that you packed up? Where is all of that now?
I can't give you exact location, but I can tell you it's in a secure location. It's a secure facility. It's a facility designed just for that, holding evidence items. So it's very secure. Nobody can get access to it. And just my investigator, I allow him, of course, to have access to it, but nobody else has access to it.
Okay, great. Good to know. At least you have it. It's in your control and possession, which is great.
That's right.
Okay. You guys are saying get Stephen Keogh involved. He's a former Scotland Yard detective inspector. Yes, guys, go and comment on his channel, please. Say, can you please cover this case? That would be amazing to hear his hypotheses. Duty Ron has been contacted before relating to Equisearch. I see there's a few of you asking as well. It would be awesome to get David connected to Equisearch. Yes, it would.
I hear that a whole lot, and I tried, and I'm going to try again. I'm going to go ahead and hit him up again.
Yeah, so if we could all maybe even send them an email or something, that could be great.
Yes.
All from the Grizzlies. Please, could we just say, could you maybe look at this case? I mean, if they get 200 emails or 300 emails or more asking the same thing, that could be helpful.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything I missed? Any other updates from your press conference and from what's ahead now?
Well, that is the last thing. I'm sure you're aware of the other sighting that is credible. The gentleman, he's a federal law enforcement agent who saw my son on that date also.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Ken wasn't the only person that saw my son last on June the 23rd. There's also another gentleman saw my son, spoke with him. His statement diffuses the statement from my son's coworkers and say, "Oh, he's acting odd and strange," and the Ken guy from the website of acting odd and strange. This gentleman, when he saw my son, say he wasn't odd or strange at all. He was, matter of fact, they were helpful to him finding the right location to go target practice with his children. My son's vehicle was clean. There was no damage on his vehicle. My son was actually where he said he's appearing. My son was in his vehicle cleaning his vehicle out. He told me, "Hey, you don't want to go shoot in this area because we were working here. We worked in this area." So my son was at work when this gentleman ran into him. So so that helps with the timeline. My investigator putting the timeline together now to get a better understanding of what happened timeline wise.
Yes.
To timeline what really happened that day versus because we do know the vehicle was wrecked 4 hours after 9, so around roughly near 1 o'clock that day. So in between that 1 o'clock hour and the 9 o'clock ish time that he was at the well site, he talked to this gentleman also. So that says a lot.
So you know that the vehicle was wrecked on the same day that Daniel disappeared, even though the vehicle only appeared a month later on
That's
this
correct.
rancher's property. Interesting.
That's correct.
Like, I wonder how it got there.
And that's right. And the rancher said it wasn't there. So, the vehicle was wrecked and it was driven an additional 11 miles after that wreck. Wherever those 11 miles were, I don't know where it went to from that point or where it was wrecked at. But I do know, like I said, it wasn't there until at least the 18th or the 19th when that vehicle was, finally showed up where it was found, showed up in that area, that ravine down
Yes.
there. Yeah.
And I would imagine, just from the police report, they were saying that the guy who met Daniel at the water well was saying that he was just sort of sitting in the car and not doing. I can't remember if it was there where I read it or where, but he wasn't doing his normal non-verbals. Now I'm one of those too. I sit like a statue, and you're an army veteran. Don't you think that you know Daniel very well? Of course, he's your son, so I'm sure he wasn't like a fiddly type, right? So for this guy to say he's being weird because he's not fiddling around, I would sit exactly like Daniel was described to be sitting. If it's raining and they're getting in the cars and they're like, ooh, they're getting in separate cars, I would also just sit there for a while, be busy in your mind. But yet for him, that was odd. But that's not odd, right?
Yeah, and I never heard that part. I'm trying to catch on what you're saying. It was a part, when I'm tracking the saying that
Yeah.
Ken said that my son was sitting in the car. I never got that part. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if that's something that Buckeye put in the report, but I never
I don't
heard.
know where I read that. I don't know where I read
I
that now.
never,
It's just
never
stored
heard
in
it.
my brain because I'm very visual. So I
Right.
visualized like, so it started raining and they were getting in the car and they probably got in possibly
Yeah,
separate cars,
possibly.
but then possibly the thing he was saying is just acting weird is because he was like saying bye or just sitting there staring, this whole staring into the distance. I think that was from the police report.
And from what I
But
understand, it was on a 10-minute thing between those two. It only lasted about 10 minutes before my son got out of there,
yes.
according to him. And that's a great observation of a person you never met before in 10 minutes to say that they're acting
Mm.
strange. Maybe that's a normal way he acts. So how's that
Yes,
odd
yes.
to you and you don't know anything about my son?
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem. Yes.
You can't just say someone's odd because they're not moving around a lot of fiddling or listening to the radio, doing something. It's like he's a thinker, I would assume. Daniel seems to be, just from the little bit I know and from what I've seen of his case, he lives in his head, right?
He does.
Like
He's the guy
yeah.
that yeah, he's a scientist. That's a reason why
Yes,
he
exactly.
analyzes everything.
Exactly.
He analyzes things, and
Yeah.
how I want to put it. He just analyzes everything. He always asks questions and
Yeah.
about things. So that's why me and his conversations always 2 hours long. That is normal for me and Danny. I know when he called. I know I got to be ready to talk for 2 hours. So that's an automatic
Right.
given. So if I'm not in a position to do so, I won't answer his call right then. I'll send him a text. Hey, I'm gonna call you right back because I know it's gonna take a while. So I know that's just what me and Danny do. He has a lot of questions. He's very particular on knowing certain things. So yes, that's Daniel.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you could, because we've covered the case so much here as well. Could you tell us a bit more about Daniel? Because I don't know, I think a lot of us Grizzlies feel like we know him and we're rooting for him and we want him to be found, but we only know what we can read and what we hear as of here. But you know him so well. So I know we want to, of course, speak about him in present tense. We want him to be found. So can you tell us about him, about your son?
Well, one other thing about Daniel, if you ran into him, the first thing he would do is try. First, of all, he'll greet you because he's been all been taught, not to judge people and just try to treat everybody equally. So that's what Daniel would come off as. He'd come as a really friendly guy, just like the gentleman saying. So I believe that some of the statements that he was saying about Daniel when he met Daniel that day with his children, he's going to be very talkative. He's going to smile. Daniel
Yeah.
likes to smile all the time, so he'll smile and he would have a conversation with you, and he'll try to help you in every way he can. Then you have a way of some type of way he can just make friends easily. He's very I guess a people's person, so
Yeah.
he definitely can make friends a lot easy. His siblings, they all went to college together. All three of them, the twin girls and himself, Daniel, they were all in college together, and they all lived in the dormitories. And Did I get that right? Barracks? No, dormitory. I was say barracks, but dormitories. And
Oh yes, yes.
Daniel lived the college life. You know, they can walk down the street and they say, "Hey, Daniel." Everybody say, "Hey, Daniel," like, and they looking like, "Daniel, how you know this person?" Like everybody knows he's very popular. You know,
Wow.
at the college down there. So you know, Daniel's like I say, can meet people, he blends in with everybody, and just have fun. He's a guy that want to enjoy life and
Yeah.
experience other people's culture. So let's say if you come from wherever you come from, he's going to inquire about how you do things, you know, versus how he do things, and he want to learn that kind of stuff. So that's the way he's a thinker, just like you were saying, he's a thinker,
Yeah.
and he take things like that.
That's amazing. And I think he's highly intelligent. I mean, he was a scientist, geologist working out there. I don't know. I just see him as like a daydream. I don't know. I resonate a bit with him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
just if I just look at his picture, I'm like, oh, and he's got so many nice pictures on your website that you have of him as well. If you haven't seen it yet, go there to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And at the bottom there's some pictures that you may not have seen before of Daniel. It could
I
also
will
help if
see
you
one.
spot him somewhere. Yeah, if you spot him somewhere.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, when I got here, I didn't bring my hard drive with me when I made that long trip up here to Arizona. But I am planning to go home finally for
Wow.
Christmas. You know,
Okay.
I'm forcing myself to do so, and it's
Yeah.
for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons my family making me do it.
Uh,
The other reason is my extended family making me do it. I talked to some of the volunteers out there. We're coming on Christmas too. I'm like, oh no, you're not. You're gonna spend time with your family. I love my son, and I have to be here to search for my son. But I see how dedicated people are, and they would. I really believe when they say that they would show up on
yeah.
Christmas Day. And I think even though you know some people may celebrate Christmas, some people may not. That's a
Yeah.
time where people, families get together. They have days
Mhm.
off. They get to spend time with their families. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in family, so the only way I can force the volunteers to stay home on Christmas Day is to cancel the search altogether. So that's what I plan.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay, so you'll be back in South Carolina for Christmas and you'll get the hard drive.
that's right.
And
Get some
then
more
there'll
pictures.
be
Yeah.
some more pictures, which will be amazing to
Yeah.
see as well. Amber asked, how long does it take to search one grid? That's actually an interesting question.
You know, one grid
Hmm.
can be searching on that weekend. It can be, depending on how many people we have to search. And but I can tell you that's why you see sometimes you may not see that map change much. That's because we have to go over that area. That's why you see the different color variances because we have to go over that area 2 or 3 times. You know, that you know the word statistic
That
wise,
word.
a place have to be searched multiple times. It can't be just searched one time and think you're going to find something. Now, mind you, if it was a vehicle like that, my son's vehicle sitting out there on the ground, you're going to find that on the first search. But to find human remains and things like that, a button on the ground, for instance, or something significant, you have to go over area multiple times. So with that kind of terrain, you can imagine up and down in the brush and things like that. It takes time. It takes time. So that's the reason why.
Okay. And I know this question I'm about to post is not your favorite question, but it's being asked multiple times. So I'm going to put it on here. Did your son ever mention a woman by the name of Caitlin when he talked to you? Did he tell you about anything, what he may have felt for her at the time?
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Yeah. I've been
It comes.
avoiding it because I know this is
You
not your
know,
favorite question.
I always have to say this part first. That was put out because Buckeye wanted to distract from their lack of action, lack of what they want need to do. And you know, and it's sad that happened. I knew when it first happened when they put it. Matter of fact, I think they even highlighted one reporter gave it to me. It was highlighted, you know, and it's very much out of context. I would tell people to just use their own judgment. You know, look, you read that out of that report, you got to ask yourself a lot of questions. Where's if they take a person's phone, how did they get that? You know, from her phone? They didn't have her phone. She sent it to them, so she could send it to them in the kind of way she want to. But they had my son's phone, and you got to ask the question: where is the text messages on his end that would kind of corroborate her text message, make sure it wasn't nothing deleted, wasn't nothing added, you know, that kind of stuff wasn't doctored, whatever the case may be. And I'm not accusing her of anything and saying that happened, but I can tell you that you know, a person need to ask that kind of question about the context and things like that. It's one sided. But I do know my son did tell me on 2 days prior to him going missing about this young lady. He told me about her name. One of the biggest things that stood out to me, and I listened to I told you I record everything. I listen to the conversation all the time, even up to this day. And one of the things that stood out to me is that I kind of was still upset with Daniel because he stayed the night of a person's house he don't know, right? So I told him, look, son, you don't do that. You don't spend the night over people's house you don't know. How you know she don't have a husband or a boyfriend? Because he did tell me it was two young ladies, it wasn't just one. And he said that oh, I know that this is her house, she live alone because it's a house. I was like, son, that sounds stupid. Now Daniel's a very intelligent guy, but he'll say something stupid like that sometimes, and it makes me mad, as a father, because I know he's smarter than that, and he need to be sharper than that. So Daniel did stay over there. I was a little uptight about that, very uptight about that. He did explain to me that he left his canopy. He said, oh yeah, he told me, I had to go back over there to get a canopy out of her backyard. And in my mind, I didn't say anything about it, but I was like, what you got a canopy in the backyard? What they doing in the backyard with a canopy, that type thing, And so he went back to retrieve it, retrieve that canopy. I think it must be I'm assuming this must happen over the weekend because he had to use it for his job. I know he don't work on weekends. So he had to go back to get it. He sent her a text message. She didn't reply, trying to contact her, let him know he need to get his canopy. So he took it upon himself. He told me this. And went in her backyard and go retrieve his canopy. That's where the text message came from. Like I said, things are so out of context because Buckeye put it in the report a certain kind of way. But that's where the text message came from, when she said, hey, don't come over here uninvited. Because she saw him, from what my son told me, that she saw him on, I guess she had some type of Ring camera or something, on going in her backyard to retrieve his canopy for work. So that's where that text message came from. But then people will run with that and make a story because they want to sell a story in a newspaper or whatever they're doing to say my son was stalking this woman, or like it's appearing to be a stalkish thing. Now, why my son came there the second time, I do not know. But I do know that his text messages are missing. His phone is being wiped clean. The message that when it got something to do with the message between him and her, it's been gone. It's out of that phone. But my message is still there. Everybody else, his friends, his family, everybody else's message is there. But the messages with that young lady is gone. So that begs the question is, that should have been in the report. To say, hey, look, we went through the son's phone. It's been wiped clean, from this, that, blah, blah, blah. So if you're going to put certain things in the report and don't put the other, that's when I have problems. Like I said, they don't put the rancher's statement to say, the rancher said the vehicle wasn't here 2 days prior. You won't find that in the report. You just say, oh, the rancher found the vehicle. So you need to put some details there to make sure that the report is complete. Don't put half reports and have people give emphasis to make my son appear unstable and mentally unstable. Danny's a scientist. He's a brilliant guy. He's an entrepreneur. He want to travel and he want to do things. So Daniel is a believer in God. He's the boy that goes around in the family. Like I told you, when I say this on the interviews, I'm telling the truth. Daniel brings his family together. He brings people together. We have disagreements in our family. Daniel's right there in that midst. He's the one with the other siblings not speaking to their grandparents because they think their friends are more important, I guess. Daniel always calling his grandparents, always going to visit his grandparents. Even when the COVID thing was hitting, he don't go. He makes sure he don't go in their house. He'll go to the porch and knock on the door and talk to them through the window. That's Daniel. So I'm saying, Daniel's not an unstable guy. He's brilliant. He's sharp, and they know that.
Yeah. Your dog. Your dog is asking for attention.
He gets jealous. Yes.
Oh no, he's getting
attention away
jealous.
Right now.
But he's a grizzly too.
Yes,
oh no, so cute. I won't keep you much longer. Let's ask this question. Does the company have any other missing employees, not just in Arizona, but anywhere? I'm really curious, as you all can see.
That's some kind of researches I have to do. I haven't done that yet. Find out if there's any other things like that. But I do know that the family, we're upset with the company. I have Auntie who reached out to the owner. I reached out to the owner myself, had a meeting with them. Matter of fact, the owners of that company, his son is one of Dan's best friends from college. So, I hope they changed their policy, and I think they did, from what I understand, sending out their employees in the desert, in the remote areas by themselves, like they do. They did with Daniel, with no kind of system where if something like this happened, they'll know immediately. Different things like that. This helps kind of safety protocols out there, because I talk to a lot of other companies that does that type of work, and they don't ever let geologists out there, their company now, alone. Certain companies, of course, but companies like that to do hydrogeologists, whatever, they don't let them out there alone in those remote areas like that.
Are you a Desert Shield and Storm veteran?
No, I'm an OEF, OEF Operation Endure Freedom, Afghanistan. I have never been in Iraq, but I've been in Afghanistan, 2 tours in Afghanistan.
Okay, great. Shame your dog is begging to go outside. Well,
yes, I'm rubbing with my foot. Keep him quiet.
Right, yeah, he's like cute. Here is Stephen Keogh from Murder Academy, former Scotland Yard. I'm skulking, shocked for David. Right, we got to hypothesize this one. He's got some excellent thoughts because he worked at Scotland Yard for, I believe, almost 30 years. So that's going to be great also to hear some thoughts over there from Stephen Keogh.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I mean, we're busy looking at the Delphi case. We're already shocked there. Wait till he looks at this case. Shocking, right? With the police work, I mean, with Buckeye and all that.
Yes.
Is there, okay, so to wrap up, because you can be here next week again anytime you want. There's an open door over here on Grizzly True Crime, and you're always welcome. So is there anything we can do for you this week? Can we do something for you this week? As you know, we're fundraising with the merch range, which you've given me permission to do. Thank you so much. So I just want everyone to see that the website on the back. And then we've got the Grizzlies Love Daniel Robinson. So if you guys want to buy the merch to spread awareness and raise funds, we're going to be making that transfer just before Christmas on your way to South Carolina. Yeah. I would love to help you raise some reward money. That would be great as well. But for whatever you need it for, that is what we're doing there. But what else can we do besides bug Brian Enton, send out a lot of tweets, keep sharing the social media stuff that you put out as well?
Yeah, definitely more. I want to have the biggest search this weekend.
All right.
To cover this weekend and next weekend, to cover some of those areas that you see that we didn't get to mark off yet. To turn some of those blocks into dark green. That's what I'm hoping for. I need more volunteers, more people on the ground to cover some of these areas. Bring your drones, bring your horses, bring your whatever, everything. Come out and so I can cover these areas. That's bugging me really bad, because I feel like I'm missing those areas, and time is crucial. The more that time passing by, and I'm anxious. I've been pushing the corner because they're developing some of those areas, and I'm sure those developers going to push me out, tell me I can't search those areas anymore because they put the whole community there in the desert. And so I'm pressed for time. They're gonna do groundbreaking next month in January. So I need all the people I can to get out here to cover some of those areas before that happens, before they start fully breaking the ground and bring those heavy equipment in and start developing.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Did Daniel speak Spanish? That's an interesting question.
Not that I know of. I think he took some Spanish classes at school, but he never spoke it around me because I've been trying to learn for years. And if he was doing that, I'm sure we would have been working together with that. But no, I have.
Yes.
I know no.
Yes. Goodness, I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you guys for all your questions. Any desert cams out there? Good one as well.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I hear there's a lot of them out there, but I can't find out who they belong to. I'm sure some probably game and fish. But there's a lot out there. I haven't found any. They're well hidden from what I understand. Gentleman that goes out at night, camping out there, say, he have a device where you can actually see them or something. But so there's tons of them out there. So I'm right now seeking my own devices to try to locate some of those cams and things like that. So yeah, I'm sure they are.
Okay, great. So the biggest help for now is if anyone's in the area or could get to the area, if you could go help out in the search this weekend and next weekend. Your desert search is on Saturdays, and your city search is when?
It's also Saturdays.
Okay, in the afternoon.
45 to 11 o'clock, and then the city search is from 3:15 to 5:30 p.m. on the same day, both.
Okay, and do they all meet for the city search at the same place when you finish your desert search?
No, the desert search is off of Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road, and the
Yeah.
city search is right here in Phoenix.
Yeah, I can
So
see.
you imagine when I leave the desert search, I fly home fast as I can, and change my clothes and change to a different person, and and then go out for the city searches. Yeah,
Wow. Okay, but all the flyers and everything they need are provided. They can walk out there with you, and you can go out to the
that's
city.
right. And also bring flyers to the desert search now. Also for people who can't join the city search, so they want to just pass it out in their communities, wherever they want to pass them out, they can do so. I have
Yes.
them there also.
Okay. Well, great. We will do our best, and we look forward to having you back before Christmas, after Christmas, whenever you like.
Yes,
Either
right after
way.
Christmas. Well, no, I would like to go before Christmas on your show here. I'll be
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
We'll have another one if you don't mind. Yes.
Okay, no, absolutely. You can come back every week if you want. If you need to come back next week to say, listen, there were not enough people there. We need more. Bring your
That's right.
horses, bring your drones. Anyone with a drone in the area, please go out there. Or if you can just drive out there, that would be great too.
That's right.
They say searching the Saturday, hope to meet other grizzlies. That's awesome. I'm a word.
Yes. I meet them quite a bit. I just remember Rose's name. There's a few others out there too.
Yeah, that's so great. So as many of you as that you can go there, that would be amazing. And from here in the Netherlands, I'll just be sharing as much as possible.
Thank you.
And also, of course, they can subscribe to your channel. It's on my recommended channels. Go over there because the press conference is there, and make sure you shoot that into the algorithm.
And also, I had to open up a new channel, a new YouTube for Daniel. Dedicated.
Yeah, okay.
Please help find Daniel. I'll send you that link also.
Yes, please. Yeah, that would be great. I'll put it on my channel as well, and we can all subscribe over there. So keep an eye out on my channels. Is it already existing now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna put it on my recommended channels right after this, guys. If you want to go there and just subscribe, that would be great.
Yes, please help find Daniel. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure having you here. And I hope that some of the Grizzlies will be there and that they'll sign the petition. Even if you have multiple email addresses, do that. Make sure you click the link, do the thing. Let's get it to 250,000, raise the funds, and do whatever we can to help, because we need to keep the light shining on Daniel's case. We must find Daniel.
I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah, the Grizzlies love you so much.
And I love them back. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. We're gonna go now. And then we'll see you back again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.